Today, we saw the announcement of $40 billion in mergers. So what's the outlook of M&As going forward?
Yeah, as you said, we've seen quite a few announcements for new transactions. My expectation is that we'll probably see even more of those, given that the Fed did indicate last week that it was open to considering the rate cuts next year, which could help deal makers overcome that hurdle that they're currently seeing, which is high financing costs, which some of the deals that we looked at for this analysis are struggling with.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about what are your findings, especially when it comes to trying to bring down that debt burden after a big M&A.
Yeah, so we found that about less than half of companies have actually managed to cut leverage ratios. Almost a third have leverage ratios of 3.5 times compared to only 16 before. And then also net debt to EBITDA stands at like 2.7 times versus 2.5. So we see that leverage levels are higher and that companies made oftentimes too ambitious promises to shareholders when they agreed those deals, and are now finding out that as they're in a higher interest rate environment, plus also they're seeing the economy slow, that many of those goals aren't as achievable as they thought they would.
In terms of that high interest rate environment, there is perhaps relief coming in 2024. I'm just wondering what your findings were around that, but also what's the role of the ratings agencies here?
Yeah, the ratings firms actually, that's one positive for the companies. Many of them have given them additional leeway. So what we found is that there were many of the deals did not, there weren't any ratings changes, despite Walgreens that was recently cut to junk. But apart from that, many of the deals actually saw no or modest changes to ratings, which is good for those companies as they're trying to achieve their goals and bring down leverage. I think next year could be positive for some of those deals, given that financing costs should decline, assuming that the Fed cuts rates. And so if any of those companies had to refinance debt next year, they would do that in a potentially more positive environment than the one that we're operating in right now.